Hi everyone, just going to give it a few more seconds here as some others get logged in and then we'll get started. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. We are recording this session, so if anyone jumps in a few minutes after, I'll send out the link afterwards. So today we're going to look at the Infor CPQ tool. We have our featured speaker, RenaissanceTech, who are the experts with this tool, and they're going to give us a live demonstration. As usual, I just ask that you keep yourself on mute and send questions to the chat box. We'll try to hit them throughout the demo. Otherwise, we can have a Q&A and open up for discussion at the end. All right, so I'm Jessica Wirt, the Customer Success Manager here at Simplesoft Solutions. And our featured speaker is Alex Folks. He's the Sales Executive at RenaissanceTech, and he is going to be who is running the demo. And so just a quick look, these are our introductions. We're going to then look at the demo of the Configure Price Quote tool and have a Q&A. And I just wanted to show really quick some of our Simplesoft upcoming events. We have that follow-up lead management process. That's a follow-up to our leadership webinar we had in May. We're going to take a deeper look at why and how you should define a process in your CRM. And then in August, we're going to have a how-to webinar and help you with making groups and sharing some of our best practices with some of our experts here at Simplesoft on creating groups. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Alex and let him take it away. Alex, I'm going to be the presenter. You should have it now.
Perfect. Yep, and give me just 1 second here. Pull this up.
And Alex, just so you know, we do have Terry Unger on the line. She can help if there's any questions as far as a configuration with CRM or launching the CPQ tool from the CRM. Terry is here to field those as well.
Okay. Now I'm just trying to collapse this down so I can get, there we go.
Perfect, we can see it.
All right, so everyone can see my screen. Can everyone hear, can you hear me okay as well?
Yep.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, Jessica, for having us today. And for everyone on the call, thank you for being here. What we plan to show you a little bit today is, how we've worked with multiple customers, using the Infor CPQ tool, and how it can make your quoting and sales ordering process one, much more efficient, but we're going to help error-proof that process as well. Making it easier to bring in new sales reps, making it easier on your current sales team, and being able to move forward there. So, with that note here, we'll jump into the next slide. So for the agenda today, like Jessica mentioned, I'm going to run through a few slides, just giving you a background on the, Configure Price Quote tool, and what it will do for your organization, and some of the background RenaissanceTech has in, implementing some of the services we offer. And then we'll jump into the actual enterprise quoting tool, and then we'll run through, some different products, show you some of the, breadth of the tool, and then from there we'll answer any questions along the way. So I know, as Jessica mentioned, if you have any questions regarding what I'm showing, please enter them in the chat box. And what I'll try and do is do some periodic pauses. And Jessica, I'll relay to you, if there's any questions on those subjects. So with that note, we'll jump right into it. So we at RenaissanceTech, we've been servicing this product configuration software since 2007. So just a little history about it. Before it became the Infor CPQ product, it was designed by a company called TDCI. So our founders, Jeremy Finley and Ben Karam, came from TDCI and have been doing implementations, over the last, 6 or 7 years with that company, and then formed RenaissanceTech. So, one, we'll do, implementation of your software. We'll help with any training as far as rule development, utilizing the software and expanding that use into external dealers or third-party vendors, which we'll talk about a little further later here. But from there, we also do some custom development if you want custom fields or anything that the product doesn't do just out of the box. So along with that, some of the Infor CPQ products we'll talk about today are one, the configurator, that's going to be the heart and soul of the product. Sales portal, also enterprise quoting are kind of one and the same. We do have an on-premise and cloud-based product. Today, we're going to be highlighting the cloud-based side of the product as well. So some of the other things, document automation, generating automatic quotes and sales orders, brochures, all that putting together for a nice, neat sales tool for you. So along with that will be some 2D automation to your products, giving you a better, view of the product holistically, and then integrating into current ERPs or CRM or any other tools that are related. So for that, we'll jump into some of the experience we have, in just a variety of industries, working from building products, configuring a window, door, vanity, countertops, all the way into, signs and displays, such as your pop-up displays you see at a grocery store for the Reese's peanut butter, right? It's a nice little case that all the candy sits in the shelf, right? So really, if there's any product you have that has any variables or configurable areas to it, we can make that process a little easier for you. So, next step, what is CPQ? So let's start with the first C, right, in configure. That's where we're taking your product, your design, your components, any customizations along with that, and making that into a nice, easy, questionable format. Along with, as you make each selection, we're using that logic to give you the next products you can select. So you'll see a little bit of that further in our demo. So then we'll move over to pricing, right? So whether it's base price, your engineering price, if there's any discounting or bundles you offer, if you're a seasonal business or you're just offering different discounts based on your tier 1 to tier 3 suppliers, along with understanding what your base costs, your engineering costs, and anything from overhead associated with that. So next in the quoting, right, we can do email and PDF versions of quotes right directly to your customers. We can include those product specs, those drawings, any warranty term information, along with specific pricing to that specific customer. And then along from there, we can integrate into your ERP system, CRMs, but what at the end of the day we're doing is we're generating your bill of materials, we're helping with those routings and operations, we're able to close out your orders and see all the jobs that went through the system. So any questions so far, Jessica?
Nope, not yet.
Okay. As I said, periodically I'll just stop and ask along the way. So here's what I really want to show, right? From the heart of CPQ, we have our configurator, which launches into our sales portal where we can have our direct sales reps or third-party dealers, vendors connected and being able to quote and order, in a nice, easy to use ordering tool. Secondly, we'll have some 2D CAD automation where we can bring in our drawings, our CAD blocks, any derivations of our images. We can add those right into the configuration and see them while we're generating our product. We can connect our configurator right into our CRM, for your internal sales reps, probably creating opportunities, generating quotes and orders from there. We can give you an easy to use configure button right in the product tab for you to generate that quote right out of CRM without launching into any other product. Very nice to see. Another thing, right, is how we generate and automate our documents, our quotes, proposals, owner manuals, any other warranty spec information that might go into your products, those can automatically be done right within the tool. And then secondly, from there, it's all integrated into your ERP system, bringing over those sales orders, those jobs, building out your bill of materials, connecting with your inventory side, and then running through our production operations until we ship to the product. So from there, it just gives you a nice diagram of how we're connected, and how configurator comes through, and then from there, how we can make it much easier and automate that process throughout. And then last thing I would like to highlight is where you're building out your rules is in a product called Design Studio. So I'll jump into a little bit, but this is building out all of your options, your features, rules, any constraints you may have on the product, along with all your pricing information. So from there, I just wanted to give you a little bigger view of Design Studio. So what you'll see today as we're running through a few different product lines, essentially in Design Studio is where you're starting with every question from beginning to end, all different options and rules that may go through, and overall just a nice easy drag and drop tool. You don't need any SQL or programming language to learn and build out your rules. So just giving you a nice easier tool to run your organization with and help improve your sales process. And so lastly, all I wanted to highlight too was from a opportunity within the Infor CRM, we can go down to the product tab of that opportunity we've started. We can select our product, and you can see right here we have our configure button right there, which will launch the configurator without having to open any additional windows. So just a nice, easy to use, all in one place for your sales reps to get those quotes out to your customers. And then from there, all I wanted to do is just throw out my information. I'll put this back on there, but if you do have any questions, you can either reach out to myself or Jessica for any further information. So what I planned here now is to jump into the enterprise quoting feature. Jessica, do we have any questions at this time before I jump into it?
Sure, and if you can choose when you get to them. So one question is, what ERP systems will work with the configurator? And then, have you done projects for value-added integrators that represent multiple manufacturers?
So I'll start with the first one, right? As far as ERPs that we're integrated with. So with us at RenaissanceTech, we do have our own development team. So we have worked with a lot of customers in different various ERPs. Obviously, standard integrations to most Infor ERPs, Infor Visual, Infor Sightline, which is now called Cloud Suite Industrial, LX, and we also have Oracle, and SysPro is another ERP we've worked with. But really, depending on the product you have, right, we found ways to be able to push and pull that data that we need to and integrate into your ERP. So along with that, another thing is Infor CRM. We are integrated with Salesforce and Oracle as well. So just wanted to highlight that. And then Jessica, the second question was, have we done any work with value-added integrators? Is that correct?
Yeah, that represent multiple manufacturers.
So depending on your level of integration, granted, whether you provide barcode scanners, you provide, different software packages, we have worked, we're a part of the Infor Partner Network, so we have worked with a variety of different integrators. We have some that work in the CAD link side or shop floor or factory track where, the configurator is going to help out with that production cycle, the operations, the inventory, the material management. So there are some things that we could work through together. If you would like, you have my email right here. If you'd like to talk a little further about, some projects you had in mind or any specific scenarios, we could definitely walk through that. So Jessica, what I'll do right now is just switch over to EQ, and just give me 1 second here. I'll pull it right up. And all I want to do here now is full screen view. So can you see the screen okay right now?
Yep, looks good.
Okay, so starting out, this is enterprise quoting, just for the sake of making the transition easier. I'm already logged in, but essentially what you would do is go into your browser. You would log into the URL of the Mingle, Infor Cloud Suite product, add your username and password, right? And one thing about being a cloud-based system, you do have specific username, security agreements, and permission levels. So what I'm going to highlight through is just kind of the out-of-the-box part of our solution. We're going to highlight through a few options, and then we'll jump into creating some quotes and different areas of the system that I think would be important to helping improve your sales and ordering process. So starting out today, this is what's known as the Home Pages tab. So this is just a nice, easy view coming in, whether you're a sales rep, whether you're a sales manager, maybe you're working on the rule development side, right? You can have different views. These are all widgets built into the product itself that are really just letting you know what's going on. So if I had any additional tasks to work with, any pricing approvals I needed to go through and review, or if there were any quotes that were having issues, I would have those tasks right here that are assigned to me, right? From the notification side, I can see, what's been going on in the background, what sales reps have been creating quotes, what kind of quotes have been going through, and anything going along with that. Some other things to highlight. So IDM is known as Infor Document Management. This is where a lot of your quote templates, your images for products, all these are going to be stored within the Infor Document Management system. So this is just kind of highlighting through some of the images you'll see on different product lines we have. And then from alerts, right? If we have any different quotes entered, pricing approvals that have gone through, those will be all stored here. So one thing I'd like to highlight is this is kind of a standard Infor page when you log into the solution. You can customize themselves. So I started a new tab here. We're still working through a couple different options, but one thing I like to highlight is, you can customize this however you see fit. You could put your logo, your banners back here. But what I also find interesting as well is the ability to open new pages directly out of the application. So I know a lot of customers who work in Mexico. You may have to check the exchange rate every day to make sure that your conversions on currency are correct. That might not be automatically put through the system. So you could easily click on this Mexico exchange rate. It'll open a new tab in the browser. You can easily check that and go back to exactly what you're doing here. The second piece I like to show is Infor is always giving you the updates for each month. What's going on with the operating system known as Mingle, Ion, the API connections, and some of the mobile applications with this solution. So the cool feature of the cloud product as well is you have what's known as Infor Go, where you'll have a mobile tool that you can do quotes and orders out of on the go. So if you're on the airport, you get a call from a customer, instead of getting your laptop out really quickly, you could potentially give them pricing right over your phone by putting in the product and getting out exactly what the price would be. So they'll give you some nice features here, what's going on within the product, some of the new updates and what's new for you. So what I'll do from right here is I'll jump right up to our application menu. Kind of looks like a little hamburger menu that you see on most websites now today. So these are all the applications you would see. Now I want to let you know these are all customizable. I can drag and drop and move them over. But essentially, if my permission base is I'm just a sales rep, I may not have access to all of these different applications within the system. So just wanted to highlight those there as well. So the next part I want to jump into is the CPQ workbench. Why I like to show this first is really this is where you're going to find most of the applications you're going to need within CPQ. So the two I'm going to highlight right now are Design Studio. So as we talked about before, Design Studio is the application where you're building out your rule architecture. You're building out all the options for your products and integrating your pricing information. So Design Studio is easily downloaded right from here, and then you'll have your connection info over here on the side to get that tenant immediately set up. Second piece is Simulator. Why I like to highlight this is where you'll be building your rules. And as you're going through in Design Studio, you could be testing them, within the simulation. So right here, I could click on my product, and then I could run through that interactive configuration, just like you would when you're launching a quote. The second piece with that, right, is if there are any errors, one, it's going to let you know within here, and then you can run through your trace files on your product and see exactly where that rule error is coming from, and then go back into Design Studio and fix them through. We'll also have the errors listed here if there are any happening on your simulated configurations. So with that note now, I think we'll jump into the last part before we do our quote, and this is called Infor Mingle. So what Infor has done is created a collaboration platform within here. So something we saw earlier on the home pages was, hey, here's some of the notifications of what quotes have been entered. Pricing approval has been gone through, right? And from here, we could also communicate with our connected users to the general public of anyone that logs into the system, or select groups we have. We may have, third-party vendors that we work with where, hey, there's been a pricing change on a product. We just want to let you know. So another thing here is if, to the general public of all our sales reps, the cost of our door has gone up by $10. So this is just a nice feature for someone coming in here. They can easily see that was the latest post by me to the general public, and then they can start commenting if they had any issues or anything. Just another way to bring us all together within the same application. So we can also be connected to different people within the organization, or any of our outside vendors that we have set up. So just a nice little tool and feature here that is keeps everything together and keeps everyone informed of what's going on. So Jessica, what I'll do is open it up for any questions we have currently, and then we'll jump into just the regular part of quoting.
Sure.
So any questions currently?
Sure. One
Yep.
One is how many users can I have in enterprise quoting?
Yeah, great question. As of right now, there's, you could have up to unlimited users. One beauty of the cloud model, right, is you can have up to unlimited users along with your, third-party external users as well. So.
Great. And then a follow-up on the ERP question. So you talked about what can integrate, but are you going to show how it integrates, or can you speak to how it integrates with the ERP?
Yeah, I won't be showing it necessarily today. You'll be seeing me, place a direct order. So once I get to that note, I'll kind of highlight a little more, but for the gist is, depending on how you want your ERP integrated, right, there's a lot of features that we could look at. One from, do I want to keep my pricing or customer information in the ERP? Do I want it to be, put into enterprise quoting? Or is that information coming from CRM, right? There's a lot of different varieties of how you could want your system to interact with each other. So there are multiple integrations we could see, and it really just comes down to how you want your business to run. So I know that won't fully answer your question, but one thing we'll get to is once I place the order of a quote, you'll see it where it should be going into your ERP. You'll see it successfully submitted. Just for the sake of time, I won't be able to show you that today, but I do have a video that I've recorded that Jessica could send out with this link showing an integration individual and also how configurator can be embedded within your ERP as well. So I hope that will, spread some light and open up, some of your answers there.
Perfect.
Okay, and with that, guys, so this is really the heart of the system here within enterprise quoting. This is where we're going to be, our product catalog is an area where we're going to have all our products. We can also have them categorized, based on our product lines. So I'll close a little hamburger menu on the side so we can open up the side here as well. So as our products have loaded, we do have a search bar. So if we're looking for something specific, we could, type it right in. we can also see our categories on the side between our product lines. So you'll also notice under certain products, some will be configurable, some will be non-configurable, right? So the best way I like to describe is if I'm configuring a door, I'm going to need a door handle, but the door handle may just come as a set that I'm going to buy and doesn't need to be specifically manufactured to specific spec or anything of that nature. So this is a nice, categorized way to look at all of our product lines. We could, select right here and jump into a quote, but what I want to do is take you through the full process today. So I'll open up my menu again. So from our dealer side, right, as mentioned, if you're a manufacturer that has other companies sell your products to end customers, we can set you up as a dealer in our solution here. So one, we're going to give you access into the system, and you'll be able to create quotes and orders. This will just be showing some of the dealers we have in here. If we needed to create another one, we could. And then from the quote side, right, we have direct and dealer. So the difference between the two is this will be in-house for direct, right, our sales team or our order entry. And then dealer would be our third-party vendors logging in and creating their quotes through here. So quotes and orders, you'll see very similar, right? And they're a very similar process to go through. Next thing to notice is our customer tab. We can, log our customers in, add any shipping information, what territory they're in, and then also if we have any specific, order placement terms, they get any discounts, and then who our contacts are at each of those locations. So if we have any questions that come about, we can go through and answer those right away. Along with that, so there are multiple languages supported in this application, along with currencies, right? So most currencies are supported within the application. So if you have customers in Mexico, Canada, or outside of the northwest here, we can base those currencies based on how we're selling. So just another way we can keep all this information, get it in once, and manage from there. So the next piece, quickly, I want to jump into is price list, right? Because we may have different customers throughout the globe that will get different pricing. So you'll notice we can have a base cost of all of our products. We can have different territories in here, and relate our pricing, whether it's, hey, we're just going to upcharge them 10% in this location, 20% there. We can easily take our base pricing and easily, without going and changing every one, we can do a mass change to all to make sure that we're getting the right price to each product and each customer we need. So any questions with that, Jessica, so far?
Let's see, we have one here. Are customers not the same accounts in CRM? Do they not sync? ?
Okay, I'm sorry. I kind of missed you on the last part there. Could you repeat it just one more time?
Sure. So are the customers not the same accounts in CRM? Do they not sync?
No, the CRM and CPQ will sync. So what I'm showing right now is, one, if you didn't have the CRM product, you could use this as an in-house, right? The way I would look at it from this scenario is all of your in-house sales reps will be placing their orders through CRM. They'll be launching configurator from there. But if you did have third-party vendors or dealers, they would be logging into the sales portal application. So CRM and your customer base would be completely synced. So as mentioned before, right here from the customer tab, this information may not be stored in here. This information may be stored in CRM or in your ERP system. Just for the basis of, we only sell the CPQ product, we store all of our customers in here, but it can be assorted any which way you'd like. I hope that answers the question.
Yes.
All right, and from there, what I'll do is, let's just jump into starting a quote, and we'll go a little bit from there. So So right now I'm just going into my quote tab. I'm choosing direct because I'm going to be doing it as a sales rep, for RenaissanceTech here. And as we load up, I apologize, my internet has been a little laggy the past couple of days, but I promise we'll get there. So right here from the quote tab, just opening it up to give you more space here, but we can look and see what quotes are open. We can see which ones have expired based on our notes, if they've been ordered, etc. So just a nice holistic view. We can click right in, see where we're at. But for today, we're going to start a new quote and start from the beginning. So once I click on new quote, I'm going to have to be choosing my customer, who am I selling to, and then we'll jump into selecting our product. So today we'll sell to Fleet Management, our friends over here. So I'm going to select them as our customer. Once I do that, you'll notice on the right, my contact will populate here, where I'm shipping to. If there was any specific POs, related to this order, we can add that information right in. So from here, now I'm going to jump into our product catalog and select our product. So I think for today, I plan to walk through 3 or 4 products. I'll make sure to be conscious of time and save us some time at the end. But I just want to highlight a few things, that are different between each configuration and some of the ways you can, change the layouts or just have different configurables here. So for the first one, I want to run through our specialty vehicle. I think this is a nice tool to kind of run through and easy to do. So let's select our specialty vehicle, and that will launch us right to the configuration page. So if we had multiple quantities here, we could change that, but from here we'll jump right into the configurator. All right, so one of the questions in here is, what is our language? What is our currency? Is it a sales rep that's going through? Are we going to be building it from scratch, or do we already have some pre-configured vehicles? Based on that, you may have an ambulance company where we know the base model of their vehicle is always an E350, and then we're going to be choosing the options from that base vehicle. So we'll run through, a step-by-step instruction today, and then we'll move towards our chassis. And a few things I'll note on the side here is starting with our summary tab. This will give us an idea of where all of our selections are, what we've chosen as we've gone through. So we'll click on the chassis here, right? We're going to be choosing an E50 vehicle. We have a base payload already built in there, and then we can choose our engine. We'll be choosing a few different options as we go through. One thing to note as well is our detail tab will show where our pricing is at. Now, Jessica, just a quick question. I know I'm kind of using the clean screen option on GoToMeeting. Can you see the bottom of this base here where it has the price here in the right corner?
No, I don't. I just see the pricing up at the top, at the bottom corner. I can't see, yeah.
Okay, so let me see if I can just do one thing here. I'm just going to reshare my screen and see if that non-clean screen does well. So let's see here. Okay, close the chat box. Oh, but it's still cut off, isn't it? Okay, well.
No, I can see it. I can see it.
Oh, you can? Okay, great. So yeah, in the bottom right corner, you'll see that your full price for the vehicle with each option you choose will be updated with each selection. So I just wanted to make sure everyone could see that there as well. So we're gonna go through and select our options, and as we're going through too, right, it's populating here, and then we're gonna have a static image of our base vehicle, which will be changing a little bit as we go through. So we're gonna go through and add each selection here. We'll add a few more of our options, and now we're going to provide to our exterior. So one neat thing to see is with our exterior color now of the vehicle, we can add some nice visual easy to see, colors as we're running through. So right here, I can click on race red. You'll notice our image is changing in real time along with that. We can change to our bumpers. We'll add our wheel options. And then if there's any special packages, we could add those as well. For today's, we'll just keep going through, choose our seat types, and add a few more packages here. So one, we can know it's gonna break down every option that we've chosen. And also, we've noticed we're in multiple tabs in the configurator. So it really breaks it down from each one. So you move to the chassis, to the exterior, to your vehicle options, and you can run through and see each one broken down very nicely and easily for you. So the last thing I want to note on the specialty vehicle, which I think is very unique, is we always know sometimes that there's always one of those unique items. Maybe we don't carry a standard part. We might have to order something separately. For instance, let's just say they wanted mud flaps onto the ambulance. And that's not a standard product we carry, but we're more than happy to put that on for them. So one, we can click, do you have any write-in items? And we can say mud flaps, right? And the way we can look at it is, okay, what was the cost we paid for those mud flaps? Say it was $40 for one set. Where in the background, what we've done is taken what our margins are, what we like our markups to be on our products, and we've already calculated our selling price. As soon as I click away, our selling price is now going to be $56, and that's going to be added right into the quote based on that, right? And then we could create a separate job if we needed to, which we could create a smart part number or a sub job, just based on a different operation from the production process. So we can do that all right within the configuration, and all of that information can be pushed over to your ERP solution from the production side. So just wanted to show you that neat feature there, as we go through. So now I have a finish button here, which means all my options are correct. I don't have any errors, and I'm now able to add this as a line item to our quote. So right here, as I'm running through, we'll go right back to the line item, and we'll be able to see now that we have our specialty vehicle. So Jessica, with that, are there any questions regarding our first product there?
I am not seeing any new ones, just checking. Nope, none at this time.
Okay, so what I want to do next is we'll jump into another product here. So I like specialty vehicle. We can show you, running through those options, adding any additional, sub items at the end. We're able to run through and get our full pricing, add that to our quote. And now we need to add also an excavator for our customer. So we're going to jump right into this product as well. What I find neat about this excavator, which we'll run through, is a very nice visual image to go through. Easy selections to configure. So we'll jump right into this. And you'll notice the layout's a little different on this one than the last. So there's multiple layout options to choose from your configurator, and really just what's easier on the eyes and what's easier to run through for your sales reps. So just starting here, some of the same options before. We'll start with an excavator machine, and then we'll choose our payload. Now, as mentioned before, we are on the summary tab from the bookend here. We also have our pricing ad, but since we haven't selected our model yet, we don't have that price. So let's jump into our machine size here. And you can notice we have a lot of different models to choose from. Just start with our small little excavator.
Hi, little girl. My one meeting got canceled, so I'm just listening to a webinar right now, but I can see you. Hi, sweet pea.
Hey, if everyone could mute. Thank you.
Yep. So one thing to note, as I chose my machine size, from here we have what's known as our price list. I talked a little bit about these before, right? So say we just have 3 different aspects of customers depending on price. You'll notice instead of the bottom right corner, our price is right here. But if I choose a different price list, say we're shipping this one to California instead of being in the Midwest, price list B will account for, where we need to be there, or C, right, it's calculating our price. Not changing anything with the model, just where we're selling this. And then we'll go through here and select a few. Now you notice when I selected the batteries tab, the red icon exclamations come up, right? These are required options now based on what I've chosen. So I know that I need to select and go through all these questions unable to complete this configuration. So we'll run through the rest, make a couple selections here. And then as I selected my arm, now some additional options come up. So we can see our pricing now. We're choosing price list C. All of our other options and selections besides the main model are also accustomed to that price as well. So we're going through and we're seeing we have our excavator right here. And what we're going to go into is we're going to add now a bucket. So once I add the bucket, I've selected that. You can see the yellow highlight means that this is a required field. I'm going to click on the continue button up here, and that's going to load up my second tab. And then one thing I like to notice is, okay, we have a couple of our dig buckets, but you know, what's the difference between a cleanup bucket or a dig bucket? So from this information link here, we can jump right into our brochure of all the buckets we offer. So I'm a new sales rep. You know, this is my first quote. I'm going, hey, what's the difference here? All right, let me run through. Okay, for a cleanup bucket, you'll notice it's going to be, you know, a compound curve shell. We're going to provide optimal clearance, you know, and then we can run through and answer any questions we have regarding that. So just one way we can help, you know, bring more information in one application and really just make sure we have all of our information needed in one spot to be able to run through easily. So I hope that's, you know, that's helping there to show, you know, how we can, you know, help improve this process and make training your sales reps a little easier. So we'll run through and add our last things, right? Do we have any special instructions for the customer? You know, one thing they noted was they wanted this shipped complete and not in different pieces. Shipped completed as a whole. So we can add that right there as a note. And then we can finish our configuration. So click continue, and then we have the finish button here. Our pricing is there, and we're ready to finish. So secondly, from there, we've been able to go in and add this right into our product line and our quote here. So we have our specialty vehicle, and then our line number 2 is our excavator. We have our configuration summary. Another thing we can add is if the customer has a specific ship date they need, we can add that information in here, you know, as well. So now before I jump into, I just wanted to show you one more product that I think is really neat on the 2D side. I just wanted to highlight a few other things. Now, if we're going in here and we need to, you know, potentially send 3 different quotes to the customer, you know, with a few different base options. So we've started our quote here. And right from this More tab in the top right, I can click Create Version, and this will now bring us to version 2 of the quote. So it will take both of those products that I have based on each option, you know, and I can go in here right in from the Action tab. I can jump right back in the configurator and change any of those options, just giving you an idea of, you know, how easy it is to do multiple quotes within. So the other thing I would like to add as well is, you know, can we generate a quote right out of this? Yes. So we can click that generate document. It's going to load up a tab of, you know, we're looking at showing our selling price, what line details. You know, we can choose a couple different options here if we need to change it, change our file names. But from here, we can preview the quote. And this will load up, I believe, in a separate tab just on the browser. And we'll load up our quote here. So there it is in a nice PDF format. We can see our total price, who the salesperson was. You know, the quote's going to expire on this day. You know, if there was any project or job details along with the customer information from shipping or payment methods. And then from there, we can see each of our line items kind of broken down, some of our part numbers. Here's our costs associated. And then we have our total in the end. So Jessica, with that, is there any additional questions that have come through?
Yes, so one question is, can detailed descriptions be added and links to CAD files for each option on the selection page?
Yes, so CAD options can be added in. And then the second piece was CAD files can be added in, and then what was the last one? Details for
detailed descriptions. Yep.
Yeah, so detailed descriptions can be added in at any point. So you saw with that information linked, I added a brochure, but if you really wanted to, you could just have a Word document there with any other details to it. So it can be very customizable, from there. 1 second here. I'm just trying to get back to my enterprise quoting page. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, Jessica, I think
No worries.
it wouldn't pop. What happens when I put Google into full screen, that little X button wasn't coming up here. So let me share it again, just real quick. Okay. Everyone can see here again?
Yep.
All right, so last product. So I just want to highlight some of the 2D functionality too. We've seen a little bit, of static images, we can change them, colors, anything like that. Now let's show what a 2D product would look like. So we do have some customers that are in, making server racks for, enterprise business, anything of that nature. So what we can do is we're going to add this item right in. And this is one thing I like to highlight too. So I've taken the server rack, and right now it's not showing the configure button. The reason is because I've specifically named this a Midwest server rack. So I've taken an old configuration and made it what we call a named configuration. So what I've done is saying, hey, for our customer Midwest server, this is the rack they're going to be buying, for their new data center. So for a sales rep, I don't have to go back in and re-add each option they've chosen before. But I'll show you right now with just adding this to the line item, how we can easily go back into the configurator. So from the Midwest server rack, I can go right in here and change some of the options. And then right here, do I want to create a new name configuration? So essentially is, okay, if I'm creating this for additional customer, do I want to create a new name configuration for this? I do not. So I'm going to jump right into the configurator now. But some of the things to highlight is all my selections have already been made from what I've made before, right? But one cool thing about this is our 2D imaging. So we have a 2D rack right here. Well, let me full screen here. And then with that being said, we can jump right through. Get rid of that for you. We can change our options. So, for instance, if we need a monitored, power management rack, and then our rack location right at the top is 43. I want to move that to 42. You'll notice how the image will change directly to that location. So we can jump through and add these right in, and as we go through. So it's just a nice piece in how we're, changing and adapting as we're going, right? And your 2D images doing that, from your previous CAD files that you've created before. So just as mentioned, I can change my racks and move those locations. But the other question we get sometimes is, so, what if a sales rep makes a rack location that's already being filled, right? So for instance, if I have this shelving unit right below my power unit, if I try and choose rack 38, that location's already filled. So I won't be able to add that there. So I'm going to have to go back and say, okay, let's go to rack 37. Okay, yep, it fits there. So just another way we're helping error-proof the process as we're going through. So the last thing we can add is a monitor here. So we'll add it right from the bottom. Oh, that location's already filled. So we can jump right down to 22. Well, it's a little bigger than we thought, right? So there it is. It will fit right in that 4 columns there. So just a nice way that we're, adding 2D You know, as mentioned, we can go through the details, see every option we're choosing, getting our full price as we're going through. And then if we need to change any of our summaries here from the tab, right? For instance, rack may be our first question. If I click it right here on the summary tab, it's going to take me to that question over here on the configuration. So just another note with that as well is this layout can be changed any which way. If you want your summary on the left, you want to work from the right, you know, top, bottom, that can all be changed as part of the layout. Very customizable. Along with these two, right, is we see a lot of drop-down boxes here. There can be radio buttons, which you've seen before. They could be, you know, text boxes that you're doing, or just visual images we're choosing from. So with that note there, I've kind of went through, highlighted some, you know, 3 different products, which highlighted, you know, some different configuration, you know, specialties they needed, a few other things of that nature. We have multiple quotes, you know, running here. This is version 2. But I guess the next good piece too is to understand, you know, what if we need to discount some of this products? You know, what does that process look like? So I'll jump right in here to the pricing details and show that if we go into adjust line pricing, we will now be going into the 3 items we've chosen. And let's just say, for instance, we need to put a 10% discount or a 12% discount on the specialty vehicle. It's going to give me a little yellow flag. And me as a sales rep, I only have the ability to give a 10% discount. So the 12% needed, I'm going to need to submit to my manager. So I can now submit this for approval. And then I can add any additional information I need to in here. Need price, discount to win business. And then I could submit that. And that's going to go right to one of the sales managers. So one thing we'll note, you know, that's going to be, you know, pushed through the request. And then if I'm a sales manager, I could look and go to my home pages. And this activity is going to be populating on the task right here. So I now, you know, as a sales manager, I've been notified by the rep, hey, I need pricing approval, you know, on this task here. So I can click in as a sales manager, you know, get a nice view of, you know, why they need the discount, where the order is coming from, what quote it is, if I need to go into, you know, back and review at all. And then the second piece is I could assign this specifically to, you know, say we have an approve orders tab, say we have a select certain sales manager we need to, we could assign that, or I could assign it to myself and approve it right here. So I guess on that note, Jessica, I know we're getting close to time. Is there any other questions we have?
Maybe at this time I'd say if anyone wants to come off mute and talk through a question with Alex while we have them on the line.
This is Jonathan with Staco. Got a question for him.
Okay, go ahead.
Yep, go ahead.
So this is all pretty slick on the front end, but what's driving it is the data and, for lack of a better term, the rule sets, and for driving who goes what's next, what's the option. Is there outside of this lesson an opportunity to go through what the backside looks like and how easy or hard it will be to manage these type of interactions?
I mean, yeah. So I mean, granted, for the sake of time, we really wanted to kind of show off, you know, the application, right, going through the motions. But yeah, 100%. If you wanted to learn more, you know, get in touch with me. I'd be more than happy to kind of walk you through some of the back end, you know, area of it and show, you know, how easy, you know, it simply is to build a rule set, you know, with drag and drop. Granted, you know, a lot of times it's going to come down to your options, your tools, right? What is needed. But at the end of the day, we've seen a lot of success of customers being able to, one, implement this tool and then be self-sufficient, you know, as they, you know, continue adding new product lines and, you know, enhancing their business.
I'll reach out to you later today, so maybe we can set up a time to go over that.
Okay. Yep, no problem.
Great.
Any other questions?
And again, just as a reminder, everyone, this is recorded, so I'll send this out along with the slide deck that Alex shared and the link to that ERP video that he had mentioned earlier on the call to show some of that. His contact information will also be in the follow-up email if you want to do, like he said, a more in-depth demonstration and see stuff specific to your company. Alex, is there anything else you wanted to add here in the last few minutes?
Well, I just want to thank everyone for their time. I know we went through quite a bit of information today, so as needed, right? Reach out to Jessica or myself, and we really hope that we can have an opportunity to enhance your sales and ordering platform, being able to make your quoting and ordering process much easier.
All right, last chance for any other questions or if anyone wants to come off mute and chat. Otherwise, we'll wrap up for today. All right, well, thank you, everyone. I'll send out the follow-up. Thank you, Alex. Great job today, and we'll talk to everybody soon.
All right, thank you so much.